Welcome to Planet MicroCap. I'm your host, Robert Kraft, and joining me right now is Bruce Wilcox. He's the CEO of NXT Energy Solutions. It's a publicly traded company. I got two symbols for you, SFD on the TSX and NSFDF on the OTCQB. And NXT Energy Solutions will be presenting at our upcoming investor conference, Planet MicroCap Showcase Toronto, in partnership with MicroCap Club, taking place October 21 through 23, 2025 at the Arcadian Loft in downtown Toronto. For more information to register to meet Bruce to see the presentation, please register to attend at planetmicrocapshowcase.com. And with that, Bruce, thank you for joining me today. How you doing?
Doing well, Robert. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's great to have you. So actually, this is the first time we've had NXT on, and I was looking at our archives in like 5 years. So,
Okay.
I don't know if we're going to do the full update of every little thing that's happened in the last, couple of years. But, for those that aren't familiar with the NXT story, Bruce, can you give us that quick overview and history of the company?
Yeah, well, let me start by saying what we do. So we have a an airborne gravity-based sensor system that can identify, excuse me, stress anomalies in the horizontal plane. And to put that in layman's terms, we can identify pressurized and trapped fluids. We cannot tell you what it is, and we cannot tell you how deep it is, but we can tell you that there are entrapped pressurized fluids. This is a very, very important tool for the first stage of exploration because our rack price is about 2,500 US dollars per line kilometer. And for seismic, you'll be lucky to get away with 10 times that or 20 times that. We can work over land, over water. We are not sensitive to depth. And so our tool is really a valuable focusing tool for exploring, raw acreage. Um, are patented in 47 countries. We are unique. There's nobody that does quite what we do. And we have a tremendous record of increasing exploration success. Since 2009, there have been 37 wells drilled on our recommendations, and approximately 70% of those, a little over 70%, have resulted in commercial hydrocarbon discoveries. That is a phenomenal record. It would compare to for high risk onshore. The success rate with other tools is about 20%, and for deep water offshore, the success rate is under 10%. So we are fast, cost efficient, and provide extremely useful data.
Absolutely. No, thank you for that full overview here. So, you know, uh, what would you say makes the NXT Energy Solutions process and proprietary airborne survey system unique and different compared to both maybe others that are also trying to create a similar system and also the previous standard for identifying possible anomalies or,
Well, I mean,
geothermal systems?
yeah, thanks, Robert. There are a ton of, um, you know, geophysical tools. I mean, another gravity-based one would be enhanced full tensor gravity. But what we provide, we can provide the client with a map that identifies, the high probability anomalies, and we rank them, as to reservoir quality and, attractiveness as a drilling target. Excuse me. So, I think that as I said earlier, there's nobody who does quite what we do. And I mean, and we don't displace seismic, for instance. In my opinion, the most value added, combination is SFD followed by seismic, because with those two tools, you can really hone in on the most high probability drilling sites in exploration acreage. Some clients have used us to verify what they already believe. That's another use. So I would not rate that as a, as an exploration, success per se, but it's a very valuable tool for our clients.
Absolutely. So, like I said, I interviewed the company over 5 years ago. I'm just doing a quick search on, recent financials and everything like that. I mean, it's the company's been around for a while, and it seems
Yes.
like in the first half, correct me if I'm wrong. Now I'm seeing, so a revenue turnaround. It looks like the company's starting to make, geez, like from near zero to double-digit millions in the first half of
Yes.
2025. So love to get some better color. What's changed?
Okay.
Like, do we wake up and oh, we should make revenues now? This, like,
Well,
no, I'm just kidding.
no.
I'm just kidding. That was terrible. That was
I
terrible.
mean, our founder, George Lasitas, was a brilliant man. He assembled a phenomenal team, which is, hung in through some pretty lean times. And I think that what we are my orientation is that rather than go out and say we're just elephant hunting, I prefer to say that we're squirrel hunting, but we have an elephant gun in the back of the truck, should one come along. What I mean by that is that the really gigantic locations are fewer and far between. But so my orientation has been to make sure that our we have a more consistent revenue stream, and that's happened over the last couple of years. I mean, we really came, to the edge financially, but our largest domestic shareholder and one of our largest clients, among others, all of the directors put up money to purchase convertible debentures, which basically, shored up our financials. And most of those debentures have now converted. So we're going to end up with a very clean balance sheet. For anyone who's looking at our first half numbers, in the second quarter, we had to take a non-cash charge of about $7 million. And that's on a share base of, a little over 100 million shares to conform with a gap valuation requirement for these debentures, most of which don't even exist anymore. So our revenues, anybody can see in the first half, we're round numbers about $14 million. So we're on track to have, you know, well, we are already in the first half, it would be our second best year ever. And my orientation is to keep the order book full. And I use the internal tagline. I want frequency, adjacency, and repeatability. What I mean by that, frequency means you keep the plane and the staff booked and busy. Adjacency means that, give an example. We did a survey for, a moderate-sized independent in the country of Turkey, but it was closely watched by other, players in that geography. And that led to a demonstration survey for a much, much, much larger entity, which is still, I would say, a very, very good prospect. So that's the adjacency. We're doing work in Southeast Asia. We've done a survey in Southeast Asia, which has been disclosed. And but that has led to interest from other, once again, much larger entities in the country where we did the survey, in adjacent countries. And so, and then repeatability, excuse me, finding it a little cold here. We had a spotty record of repeat business with clients, and that is something that I very much want to change. And our staff is working very hard to see that that changes. So, and again, I want to give credit to our founder for assembling an outstanding team, for creating an outstanding technology. And I think what I've brought to the table is a little bit, I have a very, very extensive management career as a long short equity manager and as serving on a number of nonprofit boards. This is my first public company board, but the principles are all the same. You have to identify the path you want to be on, articulate it, stick to it, measure it.
So I have to ask this question because I'm sure you've gotten this a million times already. What's stopping one of the elephants saying, all right, 70% success rate. Why not just own the whole tech ourselves so that we own being able to have the highest success rate in finding all the various new geothermal anomalies out there, and everybody else will be left in the dust.
At the right price, we would welcome that interest. Because I
Okay.
mean, look, the purpose of a public company is to make the shareholders more wealthy. Okay. And it's not, to provide me lifetime entertainment, lifetime employment
That entertainment too. That's
and
fine.
entertainment. But no, the purpose of a public company is to make money for the shareholders. I mean, yes, you have to have good employee relations, good community relations. You have to be a good corporate citizen. All that's important, but the sole purpose of fundamental purpose of a public company is to enrich the wealth of the shareholders. So, I would think that at some point we might get that kind of interest. Nobody's
Absolutely.
knocked on the door yet, but we'll talk to them when they come.
For sure. All right. Well, Bruce, to close us out here, from what you can tell us, what would you then say are some of the company's value catalysts for the rest of 25 going into 26?
Well, as I said, we have you know, we basically are fully booked for the balance of this year. Now, the surveys are not done till they're done, and you're not done till you get paid. But we have the strongest forward-looking order book and prospect book that we've had in the entire, close to 10 years that I've been, either a shareholder or on the board. And so the, you know, the, the goal is to put one foot in front of the other and turn that into revenues and cash flow.
Very good. All right. Well, Bruce, with that, where can our audience go and find more information on NXT?
Well, on our website, which is, www.nxt.com. And of course, you can come see me at the Planet Micro conference. And we have an outstanding investor relations officer named Michael Baker, and his contact information is on our website. And, within reason, I'm available. Our CFO, who's also outstanding, is available. So, but I suggest that people come to your conference and come see me.
Well, I appreciate that. And that would be great. It makes sense. You'll be there.
Yeah.
Again, that's nxtenergy.com. You can also Google NXT Energy Solutions for more information. And Bruce, thank you so much for joining me today. Really do appreciate that. Good luck. Stay safe. And I will see you in Toronto.
Okay, Robert, see you in a few weeks, and thank you very much.
Thank you.